Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today we're speaking with the marketing director of Jammy EVO. Play any instrument using your guitar skills. This Kickstarter campaign has raised over $200,000, more than 600 backers, and this was created by Jammy Instruments. And this is, I think, a good example of a campaign that really got lots of momentum in the beginning, and they've now transitioned over to Indiegogo in demand. They're continuing to raise funds. So this is I think, a really cool product. In addition, if you're interested in guitars and stuff like that, I want to get started playing guitar at some point, maybe next year, and kind of learning a little bit about that. So Jammy EVO, really cool project. We're talking about that today. And also, I just wanted to share a quick story where I was speaking with a coaching student, and he was telling me towards the end of the call that he appreciated the call so much because you don't know what you don't know. And I was like, what? And he kind of went on to explain that when you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, sometimes you just don't know what's out there, right? You don't know what you should be doing. You don't know who you should be aware of, or the people you should stay clear of in the industry. And all too often, there's this game called like Age of Empires way back in the day. I think I was like 13 or something. But in this game, Age of Empires, the way it worked is you had to like explore the terrain of this map. It was a PC video game. And the more you explore the terrain of the map, the more that the map would get filled in. So originally when you get started, it's like all black. And then as you move around with your little character, you start bringing light to all of these places. And it's because you now know what's there, right? As a player of the game with your little character, you now know that on the other side of this forest is a lake, and on the other side of that lake is like this thing. And then as you start exploring more and more, you get more comfortable with the map. You realize, oh, here's some gold, here's some farming land, here's a place where you can chop wood, like where to find your resources, right? And it just kind of made me think about that. Like, you don't know what you don't know so often in life. And a lot of being a successful business owner or successful at a product launch of some kind, be it Jammy EVO or another one, is figuring out those things that you don't know so you can have a little bit more sense of control over what you're trying to do. And I think that's really what a lot of very effective project managers will do, is figuring out the things they don't know, figuring out the things they know, and also some of the things they want a little bit more clarity on, right? So I didn't really plan for that to do this, but with my podcast, that's kind of what I do, is to help you figure out what you don't know. With my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, to try and introduce you to at least the tried and true way of launching a product using Kickstarter. And then you figure out what you don't know along the way, right? So that's really, I think, a great way to sum up what it is I do and the value I try to bring to you is to help you figure out what it is you don't know, what you got to know, and what you're doing well and what you got to improve on, right? That's really the goal, I think, of this podcast, but also all the content I put out. So if you're interested in learning more about the Kickstarter launch formula, that's available on Audible. You can go to crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That link will take you to the Audible version of the Kickstarter launch formula, or you can pick it up on as paperback version on Amazon of the Kickstarter launch formula. That being said, let's dive right into this podcast episode. And at the end of the show, I'll share with you, if you want to find out more of what you don't know, a way to do that. And I'll tell you about that at the end of the episode. Hope you enjoy it. It's coming up right after this. This podcast episode is sponsored by The Gadget Flow. The Gadget Flow reaches over 28 million people, and they've been around since 2012. They are Indiegogo and Kickstarter experts. They featured over 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns, and if you have a technology or design campaign, it is a great platform to generate awareness and get backers. You can check them out at thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today I have a smash success with a Kickstarter campaign that has thus far raised over $170,000 off of a $50,000 goal. They have more than 500 backers. This is for Jammy EVO. Play any instrument using your guitar skills, and we have the head of digital marketing here with us today to share exactly how they did that. Olga, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sal. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Definitely. Where are you hailing in from?
I'm actually now in Kiev. It's Ukraine. And we have like a multinational team. In fact, we have an office in the United States and also have manufacturing in China and the part of the team also here in Ukraine.
So you guys existed as a company before you went on to Kickstarter, is that right?
Yeah, actually, it's our second Kickstarter. We 3 years ago we had our first campaign, but it was on Indiegogo. It was a campaign for our first portable digital guitar that name of was just Jammy. And now we are with our second product, next generation, Jammy EVO, but this time on Kickstarter.
How did the Indiegogo campaign go?
It was pretty good. That time we raised 120,000 during the campaign itself, and after that we went to in-demand and make it twice more. It was like 260,000 after the in-demand. So it was pretty good, but it was our first campaign, and that time I've joined the team a little bit later. So the first campaign was without me, and that time guys didn't have marketing person, so
they didn't have you, yeah.
Yeah, and the product manager and the rest of a copywriter and everybody helped with some marketing efforts, and I think that keeping this in mind, it was a great success.
Yeah, definitely. When it came to Kickstarter, what made you guys decide to go on that platform instead of doing another Indiegogo?
We made deep research this time, and actually we thought that we tried Indiegogo previously and everything was quite clear about the Indiegogo. And this time we decided, we realized that there is such an option to start on Kickstarter and later move to in-demand to Indiegogo. And we decided that it's a great opportunity to, to reach out to both, audiences, both communities, Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And because it's possible only this way, Kickstarter first and Indiegogo second, that's why we actually decided to make it. Plus, of course, I'm not 100% sure, but as some open sources, research tells me that actually it's there is a bigger community on Kickstarter, but I'm not 100% sure if that is true. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's still obviously a big community on Indiegogo, but I'd love if you could just maybe tell us a little bit about Jammy EVO. How is this different from the other product, and what can people use it for?
Actually, Jammy EVO, it's a stringed MIDI controller that allows you to play any instrument you can imagine using your guitar skills. So you can play piano, drums, sax, and so on this MIDI controller. And it will translate your guitar skill into any instrument you want. So actually you can be a one-man band with it. Plus it's also portable. So it has a detachable neck, and it's only 17 inches, and it easily fits into your backpack, and it won't take too much place in your bedroom studio, home studio, and so on. So it just connects to your laptop or smartphone, where you have some digital audio workstation software. Usually, all devices has pre-installed software like GarageBand, probably, for Mac. And you just connect via Bluetooth or USB-C and using it to play any virtual instrument. And regarding how it is different from our previous version, so actually our first version was more like a digital travel guitar, and it had onboard sound. That means that you could connect Jammy 1, like the first version, to amplifier and play just like directly. With Jammy EVO, you can do this. It just works like as a MIDI controller with the software on your smartphone, iPad, or like laptop. So it's the main difference. The other, we fixed some ergonomical errors we made in our first product. So we made a more comfortable neck profile, like string spacing. We made it even more compact because we made a foldable frame. Plus, we used a more durable constructions, so
more robust. Yeah.
So it would wouldn't be fragile. And actually it comes in a different color. Jammy EVO is white, Jammy was black, and actually we made it more affordable. Because we removed this feature of onboard sound. Actually, all these changes they came from customers' feedback that we had on our first guitar. We realized that.
That's awesome. That's incredible as a way also just to not only validate that initial idea, but then you have people giving you suggestions on what you should do for the next iteration. It looks like you incorporated a lot of that into this second campaign here. So when the team came to you and they were like, Olga, we want to do a Kickstarter campaign, what was going through your head?
Actually, that was I was a little bit scared. Because it is my first crowdfunding campaign as a head of digital marketing. Actually, I've joined the team when I was a public relations manager, and after that, I've became in charge of digital marketing. So that was challenging, but at the same time, I realized that we have the previous experience inside of our team with Indiegogo and a lot of learnings and a big customers base and some previous, email lists, current customers. So that gave me some additional support or some superpower.
yeah definitely. How much time did you have before you went live and you were kind of preparing for it?
Actually, we started to plan a crowdfunding campaign in February this year. So we started a pre-launch and started to collect some leads in March. So actually, we actively prepared for 2 months, and a month before we made some strategic planning regarding the product and so on.
Were you teasing the audience at all? Were you giving them an idea of what was coming, or was they kind of in the dark?
No, we actually provide them when we started our pre-launch. Actually, we had only renders of this future product. So we just decided to gather initial feedback as early as possible to see if such concept, if anyone would be interested in such a concept. And we started to teaser some features, to show some renders, to gather feedback. And after that, as we had a prototype, we provided some additional details on features, on how it would look like, and after that how it would sound, how it would work. And we proceed to create more and more content to give people more more details what they would get.
One of the things I noticed is that you guys have an actual Facebook group that's almost like focused for the Kickstarter community.
Yeah, right. That was one of like a great tips I could like advise for everyone who would start crowdfunding. So like actually the flow was that we like ran some Facebook ads that like led to our landing page with the like photos, videos, some like description of features and promise of a super early bird price for the people who sign up to newsletter. And actually in our first newsletter, we invited people to our Kickstarter group, so like private group where like they will be able to like learn more than anyone else and like communicate directly with the team and ask like any questions directly and like give their product suggestions and like take part in the product development actually.
What I love about that is you can do things like live streams, you can post content, and it's a much more community feel than just having a Facebook page,
Yeah, actually, that was like a community of people that were like most interested in the product. They were like actively engaging. Like we actually tested like some our like hypothesis or like some things we were doubting about. We just made some polls and that people helped us to find the right like decision about some stretch goals and about some probably features and so on. So yeah, it's really valuable, and actually we also like had a great conversion from this base. So yeah, and
that's awesome. Yeah,
that's really helpful.
When it comes to the other activities, like I was looking, you have a very strong Instagram following. You guys have more than like 14,000 followers here, and you're posting regularly videos, and you're doing IGTV. Was that also helpful for the pre-launch?
Actually, like, I would say that I didn't saw that the Instagram was like a huge channel for us. I would say that on pre-launch the biggest like channel that converted the best was email list. So people just clicked from the email and the group, of course, and that's like two basic channels. Plus, after the launch, there was a lot of like backers who discovered our product from the Kickstarter itself, from some of their newsletters, from the page technology and design, and some like some search and some parts.
Some of those, yeah.
But I think that in Instagram, a lot of people like follow, like a lot of people who didn't like decide to make a purchase yet. They decide to follow and see what will be like released next, maybe something convincing to buy. But I wouldn't like say that it wasn't
as direct of a conversion for you guys.
Yeah, not direct conversions.
So you've been working on this thing for like 5 months, right? This is your first Kickstarter that you're managing, and then what did it feel like the day before you're about to go live? Like what did that feel like?
It was like the day before, like we actively prepared the newsletters for a so-called soft launch. It's when you tell to your audience of to your email base of early adopters like a little bit beforehand, an hour or 2 hours before the launch, that guys that we are live on Kickstarter, so hurry up to take your super early bird price. And we actually were actively preparing these newsletters, design, copy, and that was really like, tough and nervous time, but that was a great teamwork because we were all on remote because of quarantine, and we prepared this whole launch on remote. But still, I felt that like everyone is is online here with me.
Yeah. Moment of truth, definitely.
Yeah. That was exciting.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I mean, you also you raised a bunch of money within the first day. Like I think you went around like 75K or something like that, right?
Yeah, actually we had like 100 backers in 20 minutes just from the start of the launch.
In 20 minutes, geez.
Yeah, and we reached the goal of in 1 hour. So yeah, the start was exciting. Yeah, I've just pressed the button like in MailChimp to send this campaign, and in several seconds I've already saw how numbers change on the counter of Kickstarter. So yeah, that was like the crazy moment, the craziest probably.
One of the questions I get sometimes is, you have like your super early bird reward tiers, right? And then you have like your early bird. Do you let certain people know about the super early bird before others? Like, did you just announce it to everyone, like the Facebook group, Instagram, email, or did you kind of roll it out in stages?
Actually, we planned our reward structure this way is to we informed when we collected the base of emails, we promised those guys that by subscribing to our newsletters, they have an opportunity to be informed about our launch before the general audience, to get a chance to buy Jammy EVO for the super early bird price. As on Kickstarter, there is no way to make some secret perk with some special link available only for our mail audience. So that's why we had to ask those guys and inform them beforehand, but we can't actually guarantee that if they will miss this time, so they can just lose their opportunity to buy it for the super early bird price.
Are you looking for help with the fulfillment side of your rewards on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or any other crowdfunding website? Fulfillrite is literally the gold standard when it comes to crowdfunding reward fulfillment. These guys will help you ship out your products, your packages, your orders to all of your customers and your backers. They've been working in this industry for a really long time. I totally vouch for their services, and they'll even do things like answer simple questions for you on fulfillment and shipping and figuring out how to get your products into the hands of your customers in the easiest way possible. If you're interested in learning more about them, you can go to fulfillrite.com or crowdcrux.com/fulfillrite, and that will take you to them. Again, that is FULFILLRITE.com.
So yeah, actually we informed them 2 hours before, both on newsletter and in this Facebook group. And actually they had 2 hours of time, and after that we turned on advertising, made the general announcement in our social media, and made some additional newsletters to other audiences we had of our customers and so on. So
with those early birds too, how did you plan the structure of we want these to sell out in the first day or whenever? How did you decide how many of them to list?
Actually, there are a lot of components we had in mind when we decided. We understood what is our target in terms of funds we should raise. Plus we kept in mind the cost of manufacturing. so we just couldn't get lower, and we understood that price. So actually, we wanted these super early birds to be enough for this audience of our leads. So we had it just easy to decide, because you have your audience list and you plan for at least 1% of conversion, and you should have such amount of super early birds at least.
Yeah, I think that's really well said, and it's really difficult as well, because you never know how well it's going to pick up. You never know the conversion rate percentage. All of those things are almost kind of variables, right?
Yeah, actually, when we made the research and talked to some agencies or other projects from music tech, from this niche, everyone said that it's 1% is fine. But actually we had even higher. We had 2.5% of conversion from the email list. So that's optimistic. So when you plan, it's better to be to say 1%, and if it would be better, that would be awesome.
Looking back on the project, what would you say you're most proud of when it comes to the campaign or the response that you've been getting?
Actually, I'm the most proud of that. Actually, in 3 or 4 months, we came from the idea itself, from the concept. I remember this presentation of the concept by our industrial designers, and that was so far away seemed to be. And now we have in just 3 months, we already have the prototype that already works, and we record demos with it. So I'm really proud with the team that in such short terms we came from nothing to really working product. So that's great feeling, and it's also great to receive positive feedback from the people who support us. We were very excited to see among the bakers the customers of our first product.
It's so inspirational, I think.
Yeah, actually, if I'm not mistaken, one of our first bakers of Jammy EVO is our customer, and he actually took not the super early bird, but the most expensive reward, just to support us.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really valuable, and it inspires to do more. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super inspirational, and it just shows that you're on the right track, right? Because you're obviously going to continue to improve it, refine it, and have it for sale. It just shows you're not wasting your time, right?
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah, right.
With your own experience when it comes to marketing, how would you say this is different from other, marketing launches that you've done, or that you're different from your experience in the past? That could be just the way that Kickstarter works, or maybe some resources that you were introduced to. What's something that you would say is different with this?
I think that with Kickstarter, it's extremely important to work with the mail base and with the leads, to collect them and to warm up them. To be true, I didn't face with something like this before in some other launches. I don't have the very large experience in this, but I've once worked with a software company, and we made a launch on Product Hunt. And actually, we were more focused on some actions and marketing efforts after launch. But in Kickstarter, the major part comes before launch. So 1-2 months before is the main part. Plus, what was like different is that when you don't, I like saw that a lot of the journalists and the influencers, they they're kind of a little bit afraid of crowdfunding. Like they probably don't trust enough to some companies who launch there. They very careful with the coverage or some promotion, because of the lot of products they actually close or don't manufacture their products.
So they're a little bit more standoffish, it seems.
Yeah, so regarding some crowdfunding projects, like the media, they wait while you at least hit your goal and achieve it. So they would be sure that you are
you're going to be successful. Yeah,
you're going to be successful. But for someone, it's easy to convince to some coverage. They don't want to make it before they try the sample themselves. And the same thing with influencers, because we have a good relation, a really good relations with influencers, because a lot of them tried the first product, but still despite they have good relations, they already saw our first product, they very careful in promotion of Kickstarter products like this. They also prefer, I understand them, that they really values their audience, and they just a little bit afraid. They prefer to wait, try themselves, and after that endorse. So yeah, that's also a difference with crowdfunding comparing to some other product launches when you already have a product.
I think those are major ones, and especially I think it's great that you can pass on some of those things for other people out there that are considering on doing things like media outreach. So I really appreciate you sharing that. I just have one or two more questions for you here. One of my questions was, are there any resources that you recommend people look at that can help them with their campaign that you guys found useful?
Actually, I've searched just some specific questions that I was interested in, and I found a lot of articles on Medium regarding the questions I've asked. There was a lot of information about the differences between Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and now I'm researching about some tools and practices of making some surveys and upsells at the end of the campaign, because we are very close to the end of the campaign, and we
you're considering what to use.
We consider what to use. So
look at Medium.
I would advise to look at Medium, and I've also made some questions on Quora. I had questions about some conversions, about some agencies people could advise. So I used this community of marketing people on Quora. So they provided some advices to me at the early stage when I just started my research.
Okay, well said. And where can people go to learn more about Jammy EVO? I believe you have 8 more days to go here at the time we're recording this.
Actually, go to Kickstarter, just find us in design and tech part of the Kickstarter, or just search for Jammy EVO and you will find it in search, either our Kickstarter page or our landing page, where you would see all assets, all photos, all videos. So yeah, or also on Facebook and Instagram. So we are Play Jammy. So it's easy to find us.
Okay, awesome. And when are you guys planning on shipping out? Just so they have a sense.
We plan to ship our first batch of Jammy EVO till the end of this year.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, fingers crossed, actually.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your own experience with the platform. I'd love it if we could end on maybe you could pass on a word of encouragement or a final tip or something that you wish you knew when you were getting started.
I would better share some practical things, some tip for people who just start. I would advise to work hard on an email base, and if you think that you are it's enough of leads, collect a little bit more. Plus, there's such a great tip on Kickstarter is the sense of scarcity. So you manually or automatically just add the rewards, the number of rewards. And so when a person gets to your page, he or she sees that actually there is only 5
rewards left.
Rewards left. And that's how it has a great impact on conversion. That actually was the advice of one of the agencies we talked to. So and of course warm up your audience before the launch. Show more photos, videos, share more details about the future product, make surveys. That's really helpful. And really surveys, they can help you to make right decision about the stretch goals, about the accessories, about the reward structure. It's very powerful instrument.
This is just a wealth of information here. when it comes to that, just one quick follow-up. When it comes to the emails, how many do you think people should have?
I think that you'd better have 10,000 before launch, to be calm and about the launch, at least about your first day.
To be 100% guaranteed, good, feeling really good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good advice. This is coming from someone who's raised over 170,000. Still 8 days to go. More than 500 backers. Olga, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it and sharing that wealth of information.
Thanks a lot. That was really a great talk. Thank you, Sal.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. My name is Salvador Briggman, and on this show, we show you how to figure out what you don't know. What you don't know when it comes to launching a new campaign, when it comes to launching a new business, setting up a project page that's going to get people excited and wanting to participate and become part of your tribe. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and I think it's so complicated sometimes that it's more complicated than it needs to be, quite frankly, but it's just because there's so many moving pieces, right? You got to be doing PR and marketing, you got to be doing paid advertising, you got to be doing the video, you got to put on the campaign page, the rewards. There's so much stuff that's moving at the same time that it can really benefit if this is your first campaign, or you've even done one before and you're like, wow, that was really hard, right? It's like a full-time job, basically, taking on a campaign. And you're like, I need a little bit of help with this. That's really why I designed the one-on-one coaching calls, because you can go and get some education at my website or my YouTube channel or whatever. But if you really want my undivided one-on-one attention, that is the best place possible to get that. So if you'd like to talk about your project in depth, go step by step through your launch process, the milestones you should be hitting, introducing you to service providers and resources. So many of the calls that I do, people don't even know the resources that are out there, right? Even the basic ones, but there are also so many advanced ones that you might not even know about in this industry. So these calls are really designed to help you individually with your project. This is an hour-long intensive coaching call where we'll go in depth into your campaign, your product, and really how to position this for success, as well as if you want to work with me in some larger capacity, I'll also share a way to do that on the call towards the end of it. And you can talk a little bit about that. If that sounds interesting to you, just go to crowdcrux.com/coaching. That is crowdcrux.com/coaching. And you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me, and we can get that squared away ASAP. So much rhyming today. So much rhyming in today's outro. Anyway, my name is Sal. I appreciate your time, and I will see you next week.